Well, I'm doing this Open Dragon Mouth a little early for this month because by the end of this week, I might not have power. As some of you might already know, there's a hurricane out in the Atlantic right now, and currently the projected path is headed straight for me. So, yeah, Hurricane Florence, as of this recording, is at 90 miles an hour sustained winds, which is a strong Category 1, but is projected to be a Category 4, which by the time it hits land, they think it's going to reach 140 miles an hour, which is pretty catastrophic. But I am about an hour inland from Wilmington, so I'm expecting by the time it hits land, some of the power from that hurricane is going to diminish. And in fact, the track shows that by the time it reaches the center of the state, it's going to be back down to a tropical storm. And I know that I talked to some of my friends who live on the West Coast, and they're not all too familiar with hurricanes in the area because, to my knowledge, they don't get a lot of hurricanes there. But yes, I know that some parts of the West Coast have had hurricanes in the past, but not all that often. But basically, what is factoring in on this particular hurricane that's headed for me is several things. One, in order for it to gain strength, it has to be in warm water, which we've had pretty hot weather over here, so it really is favoring them. Second, low wind shear. It was in wind shear earlier, which diminished its strength. It's out of that wind shear, and now it's going to regain strength. And third, and most importantly, what is currently directing this storm is a high pressure system that is currently to our north. The strength of that high pressure system is going to determine whether it hits me or not. If it stays as it is, then yes, it's going to hit me. If that high pressure system strengthens, it will push that hurricane more further south of me and head towards South Carolina. If it weakens, then it will turn around at the Outer Banks and head to the north. So either way, that's what I'm hoping for my sake is going to happen. So I'm hoping that the strength of the high pressure system changes, and soon. We only have 4 days until it is expected to hit landfall. So yeah, so by the end of this week, I might not have power, so that's why I'm doing this early. But what has been going on? 5 different conventions have been held on the same weekend, all in the last week of August. We had Camp Farrell, which I currently do not have the number for that, but that might have already been updated. Eurofrance had a 3.7% increase to 2,908. Furfest United had a 2.5% gain to 528 attendees, and Indy FurCon had a 16.3% increase, the highest of those 5, to 1,412. No, I didn't mention Denver. Denver, with their first year, broke a record for first year attendance, which is 2,086, which has already put it up on the top 10. But we really shouldn't be surprised by this. And the reason is simple. It's a replacement for RMFC. Simple as that. With Rocky Mountain FurCon gone, those that were going to Colorado for their conventions, they had to find a new home. And Denver is their new home now. So whatever that Rocky Mountain FurCon had is now over to Denver. So really, I'm not too surprised with the attendance. There was one thing that was circling around. Was that they kicked out two attendees, which happened to be a part of the furry raiders, and they said that it was because of a credible threat, though I've looked around and I did not see what they were being accused of. I just see a bunch of people just applauding Denver without even knowing what was the threat. You can't just say it's because of their furry raiders. That's not a proper excuse for that. If there is a credible threat, you got to explain what it is. But anyway, charity numbers for this entire weekend. Denver raised $15,000. Furfinity United, $2,869. Which really shouldn't be surprised at the low number because of with only 528 attendees. Indy FurCon, $17,616.79. I don't have a number for Camp Farrell. Eurofrance had the biggest number of them all with $47,945.07 in American dollars. That roughly translates to 41,000 euros. So quite an eventful weekend. So in grand total, we had about 7,000 plus attending a convention that weekend and raising a grand total of over $83,430.86. Again, that's not accounting into whatever Camp Farrell had because I don't have the number for that. But that is quite a bit of money. And like I said, nearly, I'm pretty sure it was over 7,000. So almost the amount that Midwest Furfest had for last year. Which, speaking of, I finally got a room for Midwest Furfest. So I indeed will be there. It's now just a matter of, am I going to be DJing there, or if I'm just going to just be roaming around. And the hotel, I think they had the check-in for Friday, so I'm going to be looking for one room for Thursday then. But at least I'm in the Hyatt, because I want something close, because with the unpredictable weather of Chicago, if I just still remember back when I was 2 years ago, back at the Crown Plaza Hotel. It was about a 10-minute walk for me, which includes the bridge, which the bridge doesn't even connect all the way over there. You have to go out into the weather. For me, with fursuits, that can be a problem if the weather is not right. That year, it was snowing. And snow is basically just how they would put it in Frosty the Snowman, frozen water. And especially with Sapphire, whose feathers are airbrushed, it's not a good mix. So I'm glad I'm in the Hyatt for this year. And I did submit a panel, which I'll let you know if that gets put into the schedule. We'll see. And they're in their last the last week of auditions for DJs, so we will see what happens then. They did post on their Twitter feed those that operate drones, and this was just a few days ago. They say that as a reminder for those that enjoy drone flying or photography, Midwest Furfest lies under KORD Class B airspace. In other words, they're within 5 miles of O'Hare Airport. FAA regulations prohibit all drone operations without advanced airspace and controlled tower coordination. For those that are not from America, you cannot operate a drone within 5 miles of an airport. And with Hyatt Regency O'Hare, within that distance from O'Hare Airport, that means you cannot fly a drone unless you have coordination with air traffic control. And even if you did, you still can't. Why? Because the Hyatt and the David O. Lawrence, not David O. Lawrence, that's Pittsburgh. The Donald E. Stevens Convention Center will not allow you to do that. Mainly for safety reasons. So yes, you cannot bring any drones to Furfest. What else do we got? I know that people like Night in the Woods, and recently there was someone at PAX West that has these models of the characters from Night in the Woods, and check it out. It's actually on their Twitter feed. They saw this at this dealer's booth, which is under the Twitter handle Fangamer, and they do really look impressive. So do check that out. Is there anything else? There hasn't really been much going on, but I just wanted to do a quick video because, like I said, I don't know if I'm going to have I don't know if I'm going to have any power by the end of this week because of the hurricane. I'm still looking to see where it turns, but I am continually monitoring it, and don't worry, I've dealt with hurricanes before. If you look back a couple years ago, I have a video of Hurricane Matthew, which had some pretty good flooding in my area. But this time, we cleaned out the ditches back there, and hopefully it'll give us some relief this time. But anyway, this Dragon's Mouth is now closing.